Good to go? Yep. Okay. Thanks very much, everybody, for coming. My name is Paul Burke. I'm an engineer with Oracle, based out of Dublin in Ireland.
Hello, everyone. Myself, Surya, and I'm currently as employee in NEC Technology, India. And currently, I'm in Japan and working for the few months there and back to the home. And I'm the co-reviewer to the Kolla and kolla-ansible projects, and here we are for the further project updates you already know.
Okay, so we're just here to give you an update on the Kolla project. Unfortunately, we're missing our PTL. He was hoping to be here today, but he couldn't make it, so I'm just filling in.
Yeah.
Okay, just a quick kind of overview for those who may not be familiar. Kolla is a project to essentially Dockerize OpenStack. So that's our mission statement. And it's composed primarily of two components. So we provide reusable images. And we also provide some deployment mechanisms. Right now, our primary deliverable is kolla-ansible, which is a set of playbooks to deploy the images. We also, up until recently, were maintaining a project called Kolla Kubernetes to deploy the images using Kubernetes. That was recently discontinued in the Queen cycle in favor of a project called Openstack-Helm, which we just felt there was enough overlap between the two projects. And Openstack-Helm seemed to have more velocity, so we thought it would make sense for our contributors to join forces. The images are also consumed by some other visible projects that you might be familiar with, such as OOO and also Openstack-Helm. Next slide. So a little bit of background. So Kolla was founded during the Kilo cycle of OpenStack, and we joined the Big Tent, or now I think called Core projects, in the Liberty cycle. And Queens that just went out was the 6th release. So, next slide. Some of the features, we'll divide the presentation into two sections to kind of go with our two deliverables, the images and Ansible. So the images themselves tend to be slightly lower velocity at this stage in the project. So we don't have too many new features for the images themselves in Queens, but a couple of the ones that we wanted to call out was it's now possible to squash or flatten the images during build. Some operators find this useful to reduce the size of the images. We're also now pushing stable images for the stable branches, and also master branches as part of our gating and Zool. So this makes the project in general a lot more accessible for newcomers because they don't have to worry about building images. You can just set your tags to whatever branch you want and essentially run your deploy, and you're good to go. And the main other changes that happened in the images is we're just keeping pace with the upstream OpenStack projects in general. So some new Ceph images were added. For example, Ceph MGR for the Luminous release. Designate producer. There's a networking bare metal. Some examples like that. If you want to get the full list of the changes that happened in the Queen cycle for the images, you can just follow that link. We'll send around links to the slides after the presentation. For Rocky, we have a couple of small things that we're going to look at for the images. We're looking at improving and reducing the scope of the build script. So I think generally the feeling on the build script from the Dublin PTG is that it's got a little bit unwieldy. It's not maybe fully tested in all areas, so we want to kind of break that out a little bit and ensure that it can be as stable as it can be. We do have Luminous support added, but we don't yet support deploying BlueStore. So that will probably be an effort between kolla-ansible and the images themselves. But that's something that is currently work in progress, so we hope to release that in Rocky. And the way that we manage plugins in the Kolla images continues to be kind of an area of discussion. So we do support extending the images with plugins, but we've got quite a bit of feedback, particularly in the PTG again, that operators have different requirements around plugins. So we're just trying to take all of that on board and come up with the kind of best possible compromise for the project around plugins. So that is it for the images. I'll just hand it over to Surya to give you a similar breakdown for Ansible.
Hello guys. So we have the deployment tool for the deploying our build Kolla images, whether it is from the source or the binary one. So in the queens we release the these are the features we have released in the queen. Like we got the upgrade for the Ceph, Ceph recent and Luminous one is the comes out, and we have the support for the Luminous one too. And we migrated to the Joule version 3, and we integrated our the multi-node jobs in that, and testing the CI for the kolla-ansible project for the deployment one. And we improved our documentation to up to a good level to for the follow the guides and contribute to the project, as well as for the services specs where we thought and got the feedback from the operators to improve. So we got everything's improvement in the queen cycle for the documentation too. And we one of the major feature is released for the few services, like we got the keystone of rolling upgrade. We got the small bunch of downtime like in the microsecond, but that's it's feasible, not the zero downtime, but that's pretty close to the zero downtime upgrade for the keystone service. And there are more services in the queue for the minimal downtime upgrade with the kolla-ansible. We support the external database, like have MariaDB cluster, and we in the keystone itself to manage the external database for the all the OpenStack services, where you just need to configure the things for the support your attach the external database with your service. And we provide, like we have the container here, so you can get the your development environment on the fly, and we supported some of the development with the backend itself. So you just need to come to the repo, and you quickly create your development environment for the few of the services there to start the contribution to there. And in the Dublin, we discuss some about the features for the future release for the kolla-ansible, like Prometheus monitoring. Prometheus is already in the open source one, so we are currently going to support the Prometheus monitoring for the services. And Ceph Blue Store, one of the new would be supporting by the kolla-ansible in the Rocky cycle. We and for the every new features, one of the dedicated code reviewer is there to help and doing the contribution there. And as I talked about the minimum downtime, as Keystone supported. So in the queue we have Noah, Neutron. Noah already have been tested with the minimum downtime upgrade, and Neutron in the progress, Swift, Cinder, and whatever the services the OpenStack is support the upgrade, we are having those services in the queue to support. And we would be supporting like the service health check for our OpenStack services with not this is the much familiar with, but this is in the much progress. We is working on this one. And backup and recovery is also one of the new one. It's planned 2 to 3 release back, but it's only in the progress, but it's quite big things for the kolla-ansible to have these feature in a future release. So our community here, I would like to give some brief about the diversity things, like no company in the kolla-ansible or kolla having the more than 23% contributors. So it's only below 23, and but we can see the multiple companies and organizations are contributing to the kolla projects. That's big diversity we can see here in the community with respect to other deployment projects or other tooling for the OpenStack. And we got in the Queen Cycle 2 Pike 1, 120 reviewers gave the some their feedback on the patches, and in the numbers you can see around 4,000 reviews gone in the Pike cycle. That's a big amount of contribution, and it's about very much activeness of our community, Kolla and kolla-ansible. And almost 570 commits in the Queen cycle. It's all around coming from the over the globe, from the multiple organization companies, and not only you say one or two one. This all over the globe coming the giving the patches. And 26 only 26% is done by the others, and all the compared to the 28% in Pike 1. So we just got reduction here, 2% only to the contribution. So it's all about our diversity in the projects. Like it's not only dedicated to the one things or organization. Or so we have very good over the globe contribution to the. And about the contribution, I would like to welcome each and everyone who are here and already contributed or want to contribute to the projects as an update. So we have the channels where we have the weekly meeting, our meeting of -4 at the UTC time on the Wednesday. So you can put your agenda there, and we can have a discussion on your interest of the patches or feature or documentation or anything that you would like to contribute there. We can have discussion there. And we have the regular channel, OpenStack, Kolla. So if you face anything difficulty in like deployment and having support of something, or want to know more about the Kolla, you can come down to the channel and just ping and put your question. And we have the development mailing list. It's OpenStack. You can mail something you have doubt on in your deployment, some error, something. First you can come to the Kolla, or if it's too complex or have large discussion, you can mail on the mailing list itself. Please keep the prefix Kolla to just to keep the attention more about your mail. And we welcome always with the either from the reviews, bugs, features, documentation, or small patches, short package. Small contribution, large contribution is always welcome from our community. So anything that you all have in mind to ask for the Kolla future projects and updates like cycle and deployment?
How is Kolla different than Helm?
Yes, Helm is your, you are running your OpenStack on the Kubernetes, like So, and you are going to manage your, service containers with the help of Kubernetes. And Openstack-Helm, supports the for now, two images they are supporting, Kolla images. They started with the Kolla image, and now they are going to support LOCI. You might have had the OCI community of the container one. So they are more focusing on the OCI images, and Kolla is only with respect to the Kolla image itself, and not related to the Kubernetes. We had the Kubernetes project like Kolla Kubernetes for running the OpenStack on Kubernetes, but that's sunset because Helm has more philosophy on that, and some of the architecture like much more contributors in their project. So that sunset few weeks back after having the large discussion over the mail you might have seen. So it's quite different, not related to the Kubernetes. It's only different.
So this might be a silly question. Will Kolla ever have any interaction with Kata containers?
So yeah, it's, to be honest, it's not something we've really discussed, but we'd be very open to looking at it.
Yes, we can think. I think Kata container is more about giving the more security to your VMs or like containers form. So we can maybe think and have discussion about that, like providing that kind of secure images to the Kolla that we already have in the repo, but we can see the point of the collaboration with the Kata containers features if there. Yeah.
I think that's it. Okay.
Yes.
Thanks very much, everybody, for coming. We'll be around during the week, and we've also got a feedback session on Wednesday. So if you want to check that out, it should be. We're always very open to feedback from operators. Is our favorite kind. So just thanks again, and all the best.